This is the video you've been waiting for all month long. Of course, this is your housing market update for Bryan and College Station. Now, this is going to be a special video because I'm going to tell you the difference between Bryan and College Station in terms of which direction each town is going based on recent market trends. And then I'm going to give you an update into what developments we're seeing. Where is the money flowing in Bryan and College Station so that you can invest in the path of progress? Let's jump right in with everybody's favorite stat, median price. The median price in Bryan sits at $295,000. The good news is that is up 3.5% year over year, which is a pretty strong appreciation given the current market. But it pales in comparison to College Station, who takes the win in this category. They are currently up $361,999 as their median price. That is up year over year by 7.1%. College Station continues to out-appreciate Bryan in 2025. In case I forgot to mention, this data is recent as of May 2025. All of it is brought to you from our local MLS. Let's jump into two stats that I think are a great depiction of the inventory, aka supply, and buyer activity. Of course, we're talking about active inventory and closed sales. So active inventory. In Bryan, we currently have 337 active listings. That is an increase of 20.4% compared to last year. College Station has a very similar trajectory. We are now at 485 active listings in College Station, and that's up 21% compared to last year. So in both cases, we're up about 20%, which is an indication of a slowing market. There's a lot more inventory to choose from. What about buyer activity? Well, in Bryan, the number of closed sales in May was 119. And that is actually up 5.3% compared to 2024. So there's been more buyer activity this year compared to last year in the month of May. What about College Station? Well, College Station actually saw a decrease. With only 141 closed sales in May, they saw a decrease of 9% compared to 2024, which would indicate less buyer activity or a slowing of the market. But this only paints part of the picture. Here's the stat that you really want to focus on if you're an investor, because you want to know what direction is the market headed. So let's look at months of inventory, a measure of absorption, but really an indication of buyer or seller's market. In Bryan, we currently sit at 4.6 months of inventory. That's pretty dang high. College Station's at 4.1, a lot lower, indicating that Bryan is in a buyer's market relative to College Station. But here's the most important stat of the whole video. Bryan was at 4.6 months of inventory back in January. There's been no change since January. Whereas College Station was at 3 months of inventory back in January, meaning that College Station has seen over a 30% increase in months of inventory just since January, indicating that it is still swinging, still moving towards a buyer's market at an aggressive rate, whereas Bryan is relatively steady, it's already there, and it doesn't seem to be budging one way or another. So if you're looking for a house in College Station, we might be getting to that peak. We're getting closer to that buyer's market. If you're selling in College Station, guys, you want to price to sell because quite honestly, College Station has been hotter, but it is cooling off extremely quickly. Normally this would be the end of your market update, but I'm not done with you yet because I have some updates going on around town I want to tell you about. Let's start with Bryan. What's been going on? Well, something you might have noticed is a pause to Shulman's Movie Bowl Grill in the Midtown Park area. They put up this giant building, and for the last month, it seems like nothing's been going on. Well, as it turns out, they plan on starting construction or continuing construction within the next 30 days. Part of the holdup was the boardwalk that they're building around the lake. And as it turns out, they just agreed to $6 million to be committed to the improvements of the trails, that boardwalk, and generally the Midtown Park area. So we now have the funds and we're expecting to see progress starting again soon because of course no one wants to see brand new Midtown Park with a half-built building sitting there. Looks like some sort of a prison castle or something. Anyway, we should see progress there soon. So those of you that are looking to invest in the Midtown Park area, we will see continued progress and I'm sure there'll be more value to come. Outside of that in Bryan, we do have a zoning change. North of Rellis, the city approved rezoning for a major mixed-use development with condos, townhomes, apartments, and retail geared towards students, young families, and professionals. So I've been wondering this for a long time. Rellis sits out there as a little island, a little oasis with nothing around it, but it does look like the city and planners are making the moves to create residential and retail sector closer to Rellis for the students and the folks that work on that campus. Guys, if you want to know more about Rellis, I'll have a link in the description below. It's kind of this mysterious thing out there, but it is worth keeping an eye on because I do think it is a major driver of jobs and economic growth within Bryan. Of course, College Station not without its own growth and progress. Let's start off with the Fujifilm's biotech plant here in College Station. This has been made famous during the COVID era where it was instrumental in coming out with all the vaccines and all the stuff. Well, they're planning an expansion, a $330 million expansion that will add over 150 new jobs to College Station. Of course, a project like this doesn't happen overnight, so the expected completion is 2028. Outside of that, we are also seeing a new development near Century Square. This one is called Varsities, I believe. Check it out. They are planning on building a 55 and older community on campus grounds. It's a public-private partnership. This is going to be like the former student senior center for A&M. If you live here, you'll have access to pickleball and all kinds of activities, but you will also be able to attend classes and the sporting events. I'm sure they're gonna have some kind of a shuttle. This is gonna take about 14 acres just north of Century Square. It's gonna be a great location. So if you're looking to age back here in Mecca, back here in your homeland, back in Aggie land, keep an eye out for Varsities and its completion date to be determined. Next up, and something near and dear to some of my clients' hearts, is the Midtown area in College Station. Keep in mind, Midtown Bryan, different from Midtown College Station. Here's a map. So in Midtown College Station, we kind of saw a little bit of a pause again. We thought we were gonna have this development with all this live workspace, and it kind of took a pause and local residents weren't all that happy. Well, they had a meeting with the city, and the city is currently reviewing a plan for a 250 room hotel, a water park, sports facilities, and more. Could be a game changer for the area, but again, we've been promised things like this before, so let's see if this one comes to fruition. And so the rivalry continues between Bryan and College Station. Whereas Bryan is pretty steady in a buyer's market, College Station is still making that heavy swing towards a buyer's market. But in either case, if you're looking for a great deal, there are a lot of opportunities, a lot of active listings currently on the market. And if you want to go where the path of progress is, you really can't go wrong in either town because, of course, Fujifilm's, Midtown, Rellis, Midtown College Station, they're all seeing great growth. So I'm sure that you'll have plenty of appreciation in both towns. Which brings me to my bonus content, my client-based question, where I answer a client's question every single video. This week is no different. I'm pretty sure I've answered this one before, and that is, Greg, which town would you or do you invest in? And the answer is both. In fact, both towns have provided amazing ROIs for me, so I recommend that you pick a street or an asset class or the town based on your specific goals, not just automatically picking one town over the other for some specific reason. That being said, guys, I hope I brought you value. I hope that you like and subscribe to this channel, and I hope until next time, you take it easy.